Guys, welcome back. So, rather than just doing learning things, so today we'll be doing something exciting, which is coding with exercises. We have chosen the basic exercises, very simple, because you just can't know what to do or how it works. You need to execute them, you need to try them, you need to learn them. So, that's how we will be learning new things. And this is going to be a very first, easiest program, which is just to print this pattern, which is like a right angle. And let's get right onto it. Just have a look at pattern first. Yep, so this is the pattern you'll have to build. So let's go to our code. Yes, so yeah, our basic header files, you know why we use our header files, so that we can take our functions and use them within our program. And you know why void main is used. So you can actually brush up these concepts by doing more exercises. So let's declare our integer, and I've given n, I, and j. So we need n for number of rows you want. If I want to have the triangle pattern for 10 rows, I need 10, right? So yes, so n is for rows, and we'll be using, can you guess what do we use? Loops, or what kind of loops do we use? Okay, it must hit you that we'll be using for loop because we'll be executing a particular statement a limited number of times, right? So we'll be using two for loops here. You see first for loop right here for I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. And then we use a for loop within this for loop. Our main aim is to print, suppose it's row 1, you have 1 asterisk. In row 2, you'll have 2 asterisks. 3, you'll have 3 asterisks. So we have the inner for loop for the number of times we'll be printing the asterisks. Like for first row, it's 1. For second row, it's 2. And we have the outer for loop to print the number of rows you want. So our inner for loop, we've got j here, and yes, it should be j should be less than or equal to I, because the number of asterisks are equal to the number of rows, right? Hence you'll put less than or equal to I, and we'll print our value. And remember, our print statement would be given here with /n, and let's execute it. And there we go. So let me enter 4. See, I've got my 4 cut triangle. So hell yeah, let's come back to our second program, which is going to be another simple program, that is a C program, to print our arrays in reverse order, but with using pointers. You've seen pointers in functions before. While in the functions we pass the parameters and we did pass by reference, that's when we use pointers. So we'll use our pointers concepts here, and we'll be using array concepts as well. So let's see what exactly it is. Let me brush you up. So pointers are given with asterisks pointer, and they are used to store the address of a particular variable. And you use the dereferencing operator, which is ampersand operator, to get the value of a particular pointer. So my pointer here is tab ptr, and my array here is a of 30. So let's take the size of the array, because I might just enter 5 elements, right? So yes, ampersand n. So ampersand is very important in pointers concept, because they are called dereferencing operators and they are used to retrieve the value. So here I'll be initializing my pointer value to the base value of my array, so So the base value of any array is going to be a of 0 or a of 1 as per you like. Usually it's a of 0. So I'll give my base value as a of array and a of 0, sorry. And print, let me enter the values of the array. And guess which loop we'll be using here again? Yes, for loop. For loops are for and while loops are literally used in most of the programs. So we better be good with it. And so yes, my for loop here. As I've not declared int I before, I can declare my int in for loop as well. So I have to enter the values into my array, right? Therefore, I'll use the for loop. So for each index, array gets its value. So yeah, let me print it. And to read, we use which function? Yep, we'll be using scanf. And to retrieve stack scanf, we use the header file stdio.h. So the access specifier is going to be int, and we'll be using pointer here, ptr, to store the value of the address. You store the address of the value you'll be entering. And I'll increment my ptr so that it moves to the next location and stores the value. Moves to the next location and stores the value. This is how this is going to work. And now I'll assign my pointer to the last address of the array. So if I have an array of 5 elements, now the pointer will point to the last address of the array. It'll have the address of the last element 5. And let us print our elements in reverse order now. This is my print statement for it. And again, for loop, here you can check the for loop is going to be different. And for I greater than 0, we'll use I minus minus be decremented because this is going to be in reverse order. You'll be printing it in reverse order. And let me put my output statement. Yes, our star ptr here because we will be printing the values, not the address. And I'll decrement my ptr because it keeps going from the index value 5 to 0. It keeps reducing. Therefore, we put decrement and let's execute it. So mistake here. Um. Okay, there shouldn't be. Yeah, a little mistake there. Oops, I did not correct the mistake properly. So let me do that properly. So that's my print statement there. And yeah, let me enter the values one by one. And this is my reverse. We run into another error. So you can see my index is given 6 here, which is not correct. So I have to give I there. Run into another error. So you can see my index is given 6 here, which is not correct. So I have to give I there. Let's do it again. Yep, that's exactly what we want. This is the reverse order. I've put the address in the video so that you don't make this to exercise 3, which is we need to search a key. You enter a key and it has to be searched in a particular array. And this type of searching or this method is called binary search. So, what exactly happens in binary search is you have an ascending order of numbers or elements, and the key you search would be first compared to the middle element, and then if your key is greater than the middle element, it searches to the right, and if your value is less than the middle element, it searches to the left. Hence you enter it in ascending order in order to search properly. So this is a very basic program which we'll learn most of the time. We'll keep learning it, and it's very simple. I'm doing it so that you would understand the conditional statements here as well as the loops which I used. So we'll be using while loop and our if else condition. So let's get on to the program, which, yes, we've been typing it. So here I have my array integer, which is a of 30, and the number of elements n, and the integers low, high, and mid. So low is for lower bound, which is always going to be 0, and high is for the size of your array -1. If I take my lower bound to be 1, it's going to be my high will be n, which is the size of the array. I have taken 0, henceforth it's going to be n minus 1. And let's enter the values in ascending order. Let's enter the values in ascending order. So we'll be using while loop here, as I've mentioned before. So while is usually used to repeat the statement until and unless your statement turns out to be false. So, and we'll be using a new statement here called break. You've seen it before in many switch conditions. I've used it there, but here we'll be using it without switch condition. Now let's input the values. So in ascending order, right, we give our ampersand operator and our array name, and now we'll give how do you find mid of a particular array, and that's why we've used high and low. So we take mid is going to be equal to high plus low by 2, so that's going to be giving me my middle index. Okay, so while low is always less than high, so the condition happens only when the low is less than high. If oh we completely forgot about our key, which we will be searching for. So let me enter the print statement for that. So we need a key to search the element. We need to enter an element, right, to search the entire element. So arrays. So let us enter that, and let me declare it int key. It's an integer type, and yeah, ampersand key. So yes. So if my a of mid, which means in my array elements, the middle element of the array is equal to key. If it is equal to key, then element is found at that particular position, which is going to be mid. Oh, it's going to be mid, and then now our else if statement. So if my array of mid, which is my middle element, is less than key. So if the element which is in the middle of the array is less than the key you've entered, I'll have to do an operation which is going to be equal to low is equal to mid minus 1. So if my key is less than, or if my middle element is less than the key, the value of low is going to be mid minus 1, and it keeps executing it. And if other condition is if my middle element is greater than key, we get high equal to mid plus 1. So this, you have to do this iteration and you'll understand it better. And now we've even used break statements, because once it has found the middle element, it comes out of the loop no matter what. So let us check for errors and execute it. I'm into 5. Let me enter in ascending order. Let me enter. Found it 2. Is it found at 2? Well, it's 0, 1, 2. So that's why it said 2. Let me do mid plus 1. It will give me an accurate value.